course, the pond isn't the only thing happening around here. I have actually been doing some gardening as well. There's been a bit of trimming, some planting, some seed sowing. Basically me trying to convince myself that this is still a gardening channel and not a pond demolition channel. And there's plenty more to come because Doug has now started dismantling the deck around the pond. I suspect the pond is going to dominate things for quite some time yet. In the meantime, we finally had rain. Just listen to that. Morning, everyone. It's very, very autumn-like today. It was properly chilly, hence the fleece. This week, my dad and his wife Ingrid came to visit and helped Doug. I don't think boys can resist getting dirty, can they? So despite being over 80, my dad was like, yeah, I can get in that pond and shovel some gravel. So Dad and Doug have been plodging in the mud a bit more. I'll show you that shortly. Let's have a quick look around the vegetable garden and see what's happening today. The squashes are starting to die back, I think, so they'll be ready sooner than I thought they would. The sweet corn is not quite ready. It is almost ready, but I was quite late getting them in. I did check that one out the other day, and I would say another week or so and they'll be ready. The chard continues to be amazing, although one of them has gone to flower, so I might pull that one out. The sunflowers are brilliant. They are dwarf ones. They only grow to this height. And that's what I wanted for the vegetable garden. Bees have been loving them. And they're a multi-headed variety called Floristan. The kale we sowed last week, I think is okay. I don't think there are any sneaky cabbage white butterflies inside there that I missed. But you never know, do you? As you can see, the spinach is up all the way along. So that's great news. How are you this morning, Bonnie? Are you good? Are you a good girl? Yeah. Now then, I grew celery for the first time this year and I've been wondering when it's ready. It looks like it's going over, if anything. This variety is called Blush. We've had a couple out. They're not as juicy as I thought they would be, and I think that's possibly lack of water and the drought, but I think I'm going to harvest at least half of those and chop them up and freeze them so that we can use them in stews and things later in the year. Now then, these are supposed to be Greek gigantes, but I did get them in really late and there's not a single bean on them. There's flowers, but no beans. So I think I'm going to have to chalk that one down to a bit of a disaster this year, to be honest. This is the second set of sweet corn that I sowed, and as you can see, it is starting to get the flower tassels on it, and it has got cobs in there waiting to be fertilised. The parsnips are actually doing okay. We pulled one the other day, and although it wasn't very, very long, it was a good girth on it. It was a good size. So I don't want them too big because otherwise they get a horrible hard core in the middle, don't they? Oh, just noticed there's a little baby cucumber there that I can have. Beans continue to crop. This is Cobra, and every time I come out, I'm taking in handfuls of beans. They're just non-stop. I mean, they haven't grown very tall, but they've just been so prolific this year. The chicory seems to be doing quite well in there, to be honest. It's grown loads. The Mabuna, after the initial flea beetle attack, actually seems to have picked up a little bit, if you can see that. It's got a few holes, but nowhere near as bad as it was in the springtime. I'm really excited to see what's happening with the sweet potatoes, but obviously that's a long way off yet. And this tomato that we cut back a few episodes ago, that needs more attention, doesn't it? This squash is just suddenly gone crazy. It just sat there doing nothing for so long, and now it's decided it wants to grow into my carrots. See, there are fruits, but they're so late. I think it's a butternut, this. A honey nut butternut squash. And for once, my celeriac are actually bulking up. I want to harvest the coriander seed. So I might stake that. Oh, it looks like it's all fallen into the carrot bed, doesn't it? Over in the big bed, as I call it, things are growing really well. Weeds and plants, to be fair. So we've got carrots growing here, weeds growing here, fennel, bulb fennel this is, not the herb. Now we've had a little bit of rain, everything wants weeding. As you can see, the carrots, oh, and some lettuce has come up. So I did sow lettuce, I forgot about that. But it's only 2 plants out of a whole row. That's not great germination, is it? Oh, good grief. It's almost to the top of the fleece. Wow. I don't open it too often because I don't want things to get in, but wow. That really has grown. There are turnips underneath these Wongbok cabbages. Well, they're doing okay, so the fleece is obviously helping. This barrel, as you can see, is absolutely gross. So I bought some environmentally friendly water butt cleaner. So I've gone with Envy Water Butt Clear. It says it gets rid of stagnant water and feeds the plant, so I'm not entirely sure what's in it. For the last couple of days we've had rain at night time. These 2 butts are joined together, and as you can see it's over half full now. Now let me catch you up with Doug's crazy pond renovation idea. After the 4 of us had dragged the raft of plants out of the pond, Doug had to set to work sawing them up. They were so heavy and it was really hard work. But we have salvaged a few baskets, so that's good. We also managed to disturb the one bit of wildlife that was still holding out hope that his little home was not being completely destroyed. My dad and Doug shovelled tons of gravel and put it to one side for us to reuse later. It will need a good wash though. Careful. Steady.
Get this gravel. Oh, we don't want to lose it, do we? Trouble, isn't it, when you drop it at the bottom?
There we go. Ew.
Come on. Let go, Doug, I'll drag it down.
This is what it looks like now. And I'm not sure that is actually really showing up on camera how deep that really is. It's at least 2 or 3 foot deeper than we were anticipating. Once those plants came out, we've been left with 2 really deep flat shelves. I don't know if this is giving you perspective of how deep it is. So we're not going to remove this underlay, we're just going to lay the new liner and protective fleece over the top of it, because I didn't realise that there was already a shelf there. But we are going to remove the slabs, take the rest of that liner out, and Doug is planning on removing this deck because it's rotten and quite dangerous. Looks like I need to make a path through here too. Right, let's start with this stupidly overgrown tomato. It's looking really healthy. It's just not going to have time to create all this fruit now, I don't think. So let's do a bit more chopping. It's an actual side shoot. It's a rather large side shoot. It's almost the size of a baby tomato plant, eh? But this is what it looks like now, much more open. You can see all the fruit, so that now can see the sun. Now for the uchiki curry. There might only be one, but it's a lovely little one, hey? It's such a beautiful colour, aren't they? That'll need to be cured now, so I will put that in the little greenhouse. let's get these celeries harvested, shall we? Despite the rain, it's still quite dry. Not quite as bad as last week with the carrots, but... Oh gosh, the roots are spreading quite a long way. Okay. Ooh, some really deep roots. That's not bad, eh? So that's half of the celery we've got. Lots of lovely new compost. This is lovage, which obviously is related to celery. So I'm going to cut that back because it'll get new, tastier leaves on it. Okay, that's that job done. Let's see now, what's next? So we've got the half of the celery out, we've got the uchikikuri out, and we've cut back that tomato. I think what I really need is a drink because it's got really hot all of a sudden. So as you can see, Doug's taken out the majority of the gravel that was in here this morning. This will become a bog garden area. I'm not entirely convinced about this step over as yet because it seems a little bit high. How deep do you think that is, Doug? 5 foot in the middle? Don't slip because that's quite slopey. I know people want to see you fall flat on your face in the mud, but several people have said, why haven't we got Doug falling on his face? Oh, it's still another couple of inches. But yeah, so anyway, it's much deeper than we thought it was, and which is good because you don't want it shallow, it gets really green. We're making progress. This is not going to be an instant makeover like Charlie Dimmock or something. It's going to take a wee while, but we've done more than I thought we would at this point. I think what I'm going to do here is hang them up in the greenhouse or something and let them dry off. I suspect I've got plenty of seed in there already. Right, now all I need is a seed tray underneath it to catch them. The light through these sweet corn's beautiful, isn't it? But there's something I want to show you. I've never had this before on sweet corn. It feels like a deformed piece of leaf, but I've pulled the cob off and it's kind of mouldy inside, so I think it's some sort of fungus. I'm going to take it out in case it's something that can spread to the others because these are getting cobs now. There's 3 on this stem, in fact. Yeah, it's weird that, isn't it? I will look up what it's called, but it is a sort of fungus and normally it deforms the cob and that's where the cob would be. Last week I think I mentioned that we have quite a lot of lemon drop chilies and we did put them through the dehydrator. It took quite a while and we've ground it up and this is what it produced. There was about 50 chilies, that is, but there's a lot more to come still, but isn't it a beautiful colour? So I'm going to mix up this water butt clearing stuff because it takes a while to dissolve. Right, let's get this in the water butt. Gosh, those sunflowers never fail to stop me in my tracks. They're lovely, aren't they? Now I have got seeds to sow, but it's a little bit too warm in the greenhouse at the moment. The sun has come out beautifully this afternoon. This is where we pulled out patty pan that had gone decidedly mouldy and given up the ghost. So it's not too dry here because it's slightly shady, so I'm going to add some lettuce. This is a mixture of topsoil and compost. These are some Dixter lettuces that I sowed. They're a funny colour actually. I don't know whether that's me or whether that's just the way they come. I've not grown this variety before. Right, okay, I'll take my glove off because these are the teeny tiny cells that are hard to get your finger in and out of. They have got quite a decent root on them. I keep saying I don't like these little cells, but they do quite well, to be honest. So let's get these in. And pull these two apart because I didn't thin them. There we go. Put that one in there. Gently. And then this one can go just here. So we've got 6 in. Looking very small, probably get eaten by slugs. Right, grow my lovelies, grow. Haven't said that for a while, hey? Now then, last week when we sowed this lettuce and chard, I left this area empty, but actually what I'm going to do is tip a bit more soil in and plant the rest of the radicchio because it doesn't seem to be bothered by flea beetle. Famous last words. So I'm risking leaving it uncovered. That's my plan. Right, so I've got this tray of various things. Radicchio here. I'm a firm believer in adding something where there's a gap. I'm not really fussed about succession planting. It's more about trying not to leave too much bare soil. I'm not very good at that at the minute. I haven't got my rhythm going yet, but the ideal scenario is that if you've got a space, fill it with something, even if it's not the same crop. One quick question. Any of you who've been suffering with flea beetle, have they gone since we've had a little bit of rain and it's cooled down a bit? Because I have not seen as many. There's been a couple, but nowhere near as many as when I was inundated just a couple of weeks ago. So I'm keeping fingers crossed that that is the end of them, because they really were a pest. And maybe next year I'll think about growing more autumn winter crops, because not only will it feed you in the cooler months, but you haven't got the stress of trying to keep things watered and protected all through the summer. I'll water it in and then we might have to pick this up tomorrow. Well, morning all. It's another beautiful morning. Not too hot at the minute. So I thought I'd head into the greenhouse and do some seeds. Yesterday I salvaged a couple of seed heads off the Burning Embers marigold, the one that is right at the end of that bed that grew massive. This is literally 4 heads and I've got that much seed off. I need to put those in their own envelope before I lose them. So that's going to do me for like 5 years or something, isn't it? Marigold, Burning Embers. There we go. Okay, that's one saved seed. Okay, now I did go to my mum's this week and collect some pond grasses. They were green and white stripy, and I collected some of the seeds from that. So I am actually going to sow some of these. So I'll just sweep that out of the way for now. It's a while since I've done any seed sowing. Can't quite remember what I'm doing. Right, I've collected some of the compost that I bought. It's a bulk bag, so it's probably a bit more rough than my usual. I have actually no idea how easily these will germinate. The other grasses I sowed last year weren't pond grasses, but they did germinate really well. So I'm going to use one of these green trays and a bit of vermiculite mixed in, I think. It is quite dry, so this will help hold on to some of the moisture when I do wet it. I may need to soak it, to be honest. So I think I might do a couple of trays, get them in the watering bath to actually soak up the moisture, because that's just sitting on the top. I did buy this lovely tray of succulents at the garden centre a couple of weeks ago now, to be fair. They've been sat outside the greenhouse door, but they are really pretty. So I'm going to put them in a pot with some gravel. They like free draining soil, obviously. They like heat waves, so you know, if all else fails and everything else fails to grow, a succulent pretty much is indestructible. But to this mixture, you do need to make it as free draining as possible, so cover the hole with a crock just to stop it all falling through. And I'm going to mix in some horticultural sand, the same stuff I use for my carrots, and some grit. I'm just going to put a layer in the bottom, and then I'm going to mix some in with the sand and compost as well. Now I'm not going right to the top, because we need to put a grit layer on the top as well. So that feels very sandy. We'll just make a little space. I think I'm going to get 3 in here, looking at the size of it. And you just want it to be proud of the soil. Actually, before I press that one in, you can see this one's quite loose. This is a really easy way to propagate them. If you can just prise it off. So now you've got a whole new plant. I will put that in its own little pot. I'll find it a little terracotta pot. And that one has got space to grow. Just to finish them off. Okay, job done. I think that might be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. If you have, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Happy gardening, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next week.